Hello, my name is Juan Rubalcaba, and today I will be presenting to you an economic profile on the country of Mexico. Mexico is the third largest country in North America. It gained its independence from Spain in 1821 after 300 years, and since then it has been a major trading partner for the United States and the rest of the world. Mexico is one of the most competitive countries in the world when it comes to productive investment because of its low inflation, macroeconomic and political stability, strength, size of its domestic market, economic growth rate, and its capacity to produce high-tech products. Mexico offers a network of free trade agreements with countries in North America, Europe, Latin America, and Asia. It has good geographic location and competitive costs and a large surplus of highly skilled and educated population. Because Mexico is a very open market, this has benefited the country since it's able to create jobs and promote their products and services in international markets. The industrial sector in Mexico has benefited from free trade and economic agreements that have been put into effect in the past 30 years. Its political stability allows for Mexico to host several countries in their investments. Because Mexico is a very open market, its major 5 goals for the country are 1. A peaceful, 2. Inclusive, 3. Well-educated, 4. Prosperous, and 5. Globally responsible Mexico. This is the time to invest in Mexico. It is the time for Mexico to be able to attract investors. In recent years, Mexico has reported a GDP of $1.5 trillion and a GNI of $1.2 million. The per capita income is just under $9,000, and its growth rate in recent years has been of 2.1%. Its total population is 125 million, and it has a federal republic type of government. The market size for Mexico was $460 billion in 2011. It is strategically located in North America, bordered by the United States on the north and Belize and Guatemala in the south. Its major trading partners are the United States, Canada, Germany, and Spain. Its top imports are broadcasting accessories, computers, telephones, cars, office machine parts, vehicle parts, integrated circuits, broadcasting equipment, and insulated wire, while its exports are beer, tomatoes, silver, tropical fruits, melon, citrus, cars, engines, oil, and electronic equipment. It currently has an unemployment rate of 5.22%. The consumer price index is 116.1, and it had a change of 0.06 within the last year. Mexico is located right in the center of North America. Its geographic location makes it a good trade partner for the United States and Canada. The most important agreement is the 1994 North American Free Trade Agreement, also known as NAFTA, which includes the United States, Canada, and Mexico. The goal of NAFTA was to eradicate the trade barriers between the 3 North American countries. It eliminated tariffs between the 3 countries, which at the time totaled half of Mexico's exports to the U.S. and 1/3 of the exports to Mexico. This agreement did not affect the U.S.-Canada trade since it was already duty-free before the agreement. The approval of the NAFTA agreement opened the doors to Canamex transportation corridor. The Canamex corridor facilitates trade between the 3 countries. It runs through Arizona, Nevada, Utah, Idaho, and Montana, and in states of Mexico and Canada. Major improvements have made to this transportation corridor, with most of its extension as a 4-lane highway. It allows trade to flow freely from Mexican ports of Mazatlan to the northern trade centers in the United States and Canada. NAFTA has had both negative and positive impacts on trade in North America. Mexico has received modest positive impact by measured in GDP. There is a debate over American jobs leaving to Mexico. In the past years, there has been a surge in maquiladoras, which are Mexican factories which take in imported raw materials and produce goods for export. They have become the epitome of trade in Mexico. There is an abundant source of low-cost labor as opposed to the U.S., where employees are burdened by higher wages, employers' workers' compensation costs, employer taxes, employee fringe benefit costs, and other employer-related costs. All these costs and the changing political atmosphere, which create higher costs for businesses in the U.S., are making Mexico more attractive as an investment country for a maquiladora-type operations. All of these investments in infrastructure necessary for competition, such as efficient railroads and highways, result in an increased availability of transportation means for imports and exports. The effect of the Mexico-U.S. Agriculture Agreement increased Mexico's agricultural exports by 9.4% annually between 1994 and 2001. The Pacific Rim accounts for a large region consisting of various countries including Australia, Cambodia, and Vietnam. The Pacific Rim plays a significant role while the trading spectrum with Mexico. Mexico depends greatly on the Pacific Rim Agreement and the countries it bounds for a portion of its trading activities. One of the trading agreements that is effective with the Pacific Rim and the Trans-Pacific Partnership is the Trans-Pacific Partnership Pact, which seeks to regulate the myriad economic policies while enforcing various trade laws. In an in-depth perspective, it attempts to decrease trade boundaries, define a common framework for intellectual property, amongst other propositions. The Trans-Pacific Partnership was created to ultimately improve the trade among the countries of the Pacific Rim and has envisioned to promote economic growth as well, to create new employment opportunities, and to offer a way to save current jobs. When taking a closer look into Mexico and its trading business with the TPP, it is evident that Mexico first signed and first began negotiating with TPP and the Pacific Rim countries as early as October of 2012. Mexico's biggest motives as to why they decided to negotiate with the TPP can be analyzed from two different standpoints. One of the standpoints includes the continent of Asia. Forming a connection with the TPP would ultimately give Mexico a myriad of economic opportunities in the terms of exports. Making part of the TPP would further enable Mexico to negotiate with other nations in very vastly dynamic economies, such as Asia. Asia also contributes to Mexico's economy by accounting for at least 20% of its total export activities. Mexico is very active in world trade as it is part of the G20. The G20 is a group of 19 countries and the European Union, which make up 90% of the world GDP and more than 80% of world trade. So they are very influential to trade in the world. Mexico City also hosts the most important economic center in Latin America, and its Mexico money market called the Bolsa Mexicana, which much of its trade is happened there. The Mexican peso is relatively stable compared to the US dollar. Recent turmoil in Asia and Europe has caused the Mexican peso to drop in value when compared to the Mexican dollar. However, this is expected to pick up once the international trade markets recover from the uncertainty. Due to its proximity to the US, many Mexican citizens are highly educated and have learned the English language. This skill is valuable in service-related businesses. They are able to pull human capital, which is trained in a language and easily utilized in service-type work, such as call centers and service centers. Mexico would be an ideal partner to invest for a maquiladora. Its proximity to the U.S. and its cheap use of land and labor would make an ideal place to invest for this type of business in a nearby border state for easy access to raw material and the shipment of finished products. This type of investment would reap good rewards since for an investment company such as General Motors, Ford, etc. Some U.S. companies would have invested in Mexico are Ford, General Electric, and the National Biscuit Company. Recently, the National Biscuit Company has been criticized for investing in Mexico and deploying part of its resources south of the border from its Chicago plant. Certain products that do well in the United States may fail in Mexico, so it would be in the best interest of foreign investors to partner with a current Mexican firm to learn the ins and outs of the culture and the local market. Lately, corruption and crime have had a negative impact on the image of Mexico. According to a report based on Mexico's latest financial performance index, carried out business to migrate from regional levels in the insecurity north of Mexico have caused businesses to migrate from the area, creating financial problems for northern states. In conclusion, Mexico faces a long challenge with corruption within its government, which must be dealt with in order to keep its status as a desirable investment company. Additionally, there are items to be resolved, or else some of its attractiveness may be overshadowed. For example, Mexico ranked a solid 55 out of 148 countries for overall competitiveness in the Global Competitiveness Report of 2014, ahead of Brazil, which was 56th, India, which was 60th, and Russia, which was 64th. In order to stay afloat and ahead of the rest of the world, Mexico would need to resolve much of its internal conflict and keep striving towards a competitive status in the world economy. Thank you for your time.